Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Living Astrology with Janet Hickox. It's time to grab your cup of coffee or your tea or your water and sit back and relax while we chat about what is happening up in the stars above us this morning, November 4th, the day before the big election in the USA. And here in Washington State, we are in the midst of a powerful winter type Pacific storm. It's blowing out there between 40 and 60 miles an hour, pouring down rain. I'm so glad to be inside this morning, and I am very grateful that we still have power and that we still have internet so that I can come to you live this morning. And I hear from Diana that there's possibly a tropical storm headed to New Orleans later in the week named Raphael. And Raphael, her angel of healing. That's awesome. Treat yourself. Julie, good morning. It's good to have you with us. Pam Z, good morning to you. And Julie says she ordered her almanac over the weekend on Amazon. Woohoo! It's a great place to get your energy almanac so you have it ready for 2025. You can get used to the new format and play around with, the oracle card reading type things in there. Good morning, Teddy. It's good to see you. Tom, we always have the power. Indeed, we do, but sometimes the electricity goes out. Joan says, my lights are going off and on. I hope I don't lose you. I hope you don't lose us too. My lights have just flickered, but not really gone off or back on. But if for some reason I disappear, you'll know it's a big storm and boom, the power can go out at any time. But right now, everything's doing well. Nico Vasquez, we're happy to see you with us this morning. Lo, hello to you. And it is great to be here. Today, we are going to be talking about a lot of different things, but I'm going to skip going over the moon because I think we pretty much know what the moon in Sagittarius is all about: adventure, exploration, truth, etc. Right? That gives me a chance to go back to something I wanted to talk about on Friday, but didn't get a chance to. And that is about Mars transiting through the sign of Leo. And all of this in preparation for his December 6th retrograde in Leo, moving backward then into Cancer over the next month. So by the beginning of the year, we end up with the energy of Mars back in Cancer, where he's been for a couple of months, and yet we have this interim period of time of Mars in Leo, a fellow fire sign. And how can we utilize the energy of that passion, of that fire, of that self expression in the time in between now and that retrograde, and even after the retrograde? Mars will eventually, and as we get into 2025, be back into Leo. So we get sort of this foreshadowing, if you will, of what's possible during this period of time. And then I want to show you something extraordinary. This morning, I did not print the chart originally, right? And just about 5 minutes before I went on air, I thought, oh, I should probably print the chart of the day. And I'm so glad I did, because look what shows up in the chart. It is what we would call a Star of David. And within the Star of David, you have what, like three different kites involved. We have trines. So we have sextiles. We have a very interesting pattern that is not exact for sure. For sure. I mean, it's got, some planets are a little further away than others. But this is a pattern that, to me, always seems to depict the potential for, how shall I put it? For, I mean, the best word I can say is for change that moves us in a new direction. It is not necessarily a difficult pattern, but what gets difficult here is that it has so much potential, right? If you look at it, every sextile, and the sextiles are 60-degree angles, right? So, like between Mars here and the South Node, there's the sextile. Between the South Node and Mercury, there's a sextile, and on around the edges here until we get back to Mars. And sextiles are harmonizing. Trines, there's a trine now between Mercury and Mars, and down here Neptune, and back over to Mercury. And again, a flow of energy, right? These are flowing, harmonizing energies. But within that context, there are so many possibilities of how this can express that it gets a little kind of scatters, the good, the beneficial energies get scattered about. No one in this case is really going to know, well, where do I focus my energy? Do I focus it on the Mars in Leo? Do I focus it on the South Node in Libra? On Mercury in Sag, on Pluto in Capricorn, Aquarius, Neptune in Pisces, or Uranus in Taurus? Where do I put my energy? Right? This is the problem with this very beautiful thing. But all things are possible, I guess, is the takeaway message that I always get from a Star of David. And it's really going to depend on where it is that you focus your energy. Where do you focus your thoughts? Where do you focus your time, your resources, etc., right? That is going to be the important thing. And trying not to skip around from one thing to the other, to the other, to the other, because that will be the thing that diffuses your potency and being able to do anything, right? And that's the danger in something like this. There's just so much I could do, right? There's just so many things I could be. But if that happens, then we don't really end up focusing in any one or two places. Now, this is sort of like a manifesting generator's dream, I would guess, right? Because there's so much possible. And the nightmare for projectors, manifestors, reflectors, and generators who need to be a little more streamlined in their approach to things. So, now, this isn't going to last, obviously. It's not the moon that's involved, but indeed, the inner planets are going to make their moves and it will break up this pattern. And in fact, if I look at the spread of degrees, it may not even actually be in orb right now, but even having 5 out of 6 of those points makes it to be a very many, many splendored things, right? That can happen here. But it's up to you, right? That's the whole point. You have the power, as Tom said earlier, that you can use to focus on what is correct for you. Where's the right place for you to put your energies? So let's talk a little more then about Mars in Leo, because Leo is a good place for Mars to be. It's dynamic, it's creative, there's boldness in the fire energy of Leo. There's putting bold energy to action, meaning, able to take strides forward in toward our passions or in toward self expression. There is motivation here for action. And Mars inspires confidence here and enthusiasm and a flair for leadership, and also encourages us to take courageous steps forward toward our goals and to pursue activities that highlight our personal individuality. Who am I, right? And this is a very important thing to understand for the week as we go into a week where, from a human design perspective, where it's about your purpose and about allowing, your life to move in the direction that is correct for you. So we finally move away from the splenic energies where the sun has been one after another hitting the gates of the spleen that can sometimes trigger those fears that we've been experiencing. So now Mars, gives us this little jolt of confidence and ability to move toward the individual expression that we have. So we have confidence and we have self expression. That's just one of the things that Leo is already very full of, right? The ability for that confidence. And it is a sign that is representing our self expression. So this period of time is a great time to embrace your uniqueness and to share your uniqueness with the world. Now, remember, this is activated, as of yesterday, by the way, until December 6th when Mars moves retrograde. So the energy becomes a little bit different in December. So from now, so you have about a month of this really powerful Mars in Leo energy. And we're encouraged to put ourselves out there, right? To show up in a way that's bold and to take actions that align with our authentic selves, right? What's real for me, what's true for me, and allow self expression. So many times when Leo is operating in the negative, it is seeking attention in ways that are not always very positive, right? There's that arrogance, perhaps a superiority type complex, an inferiority type complex, a narcissistic sort of complex. And it draws attention because Leo wants the attention, right? Leo wants to be seen. And it's going to do that whether it's in the positive or in the negative, right? And we see that often in our leaders, right? The leaders that are doing things in a very positive way, who are optimistic and bold and moving forward toward using their authentic selves, versus leaders who are taking power away from others, who seek revenge, who are, doing things that empower themselves, but in the negative, right? So we're being supported to be true and authentic and live out the highest expression. And Leo is a sign of the heart, right? So the heart and Mars in if we look at Mars in the body, it really kind of rules the head, everything to do with the head. So we're, blending maybe heart and mind, right? Heart and head. So we also have increased motivation and drive during this period of time. Leo and Mars are both signs that are highly motivated, right? Leo, because it's ruled by the sun, and the sun is the brightest light in our solar system. And Mars, because he is a planet of action and dynamic motion forward. So there's also often this surge of energy that we might feel during this period of time. You personally may feel a sort of motivation to follow your heart and to your goals, pursuing your goals as it were with passion and enthusiasm. And especially in areas that allow you to be personally recognized for the work that you're doing or for the contribution that you're making. So Leo's influence here adds a sort of a sense of purpose behind everything, helping us to channel that motivating energy toward activities then that make us feel proud and feel fulfilled and feel like we're living from our heart and from our passion. Very, very important. Leo is also a sign of playfulness and fun, and I know we need a heavy dose of that with all the way that things are going in the world between wars and elections and just all of the weather phenomenon and things that have been happening. We need to take some time, right, for fun and play. And Leo is a playful, fun loving sign. And Mars here wants to enjoy life to the fullest. Right. That would be his encouragement to us would be to balance work and play and to take time for hobbies and take time for recreation or activities that bring joy. And maybe your work does bring joy. And if that's the case, focus on the parts of your work that bring you joy, right? It's a big thing right now. And it's a great period of time. And again, for those of you just joining us, we're talking about Mars in Leo. And at least initially here from yesterday all the way until December 6th, when Mars turns retrograde, this is the energy of Mars in Leo for right this moment. And recharge yourself by doing the things that you love, right? By doing things that are lighthearted, that are enjoyable to you, right? Follow your joy. That would be another way to look at it. And for those of us that show up in the world as leaders or are in leadership roles, focus on heart centered leadership. Leo's natural leadership style is heart centered, is charismatic. Mars and Leo inspires you to lead through with integrity and with authenticity and warmth, right? There's something very beautiful in Mars when it shows up in leadership in its most powerful. And whether this is you as a leader in your personal life or in your work, be in your integrity, be in your authentic self, right? Do what is right for you. This transit uh, will support initiatives that uplift and inspire others, not dragging others down through the mud, not dragging down others through revengefulness or all of the those scorpionic negative tendencies, right? That the sun right now is showing us that, where we have been out of alignment with self-mastery. Right. So here we have a promotion of a style of leadership that's both strong and compassionate, right? Filled with heart, but also with leadership qualities or capabilities. But as with anything moving through Leo, there is always the potential for drama. There's the potential for impulsivity, both because Leo is a sign of drama and Mars is a sign of impulsiveness, right? It's act first, think later kind of energy. So there is a risk of us reacting impulsively, especially when pride is involved. Leo's the lion. The lion is prideful, right? Pride. Even the lion's herd or group is called a pride, right? How funny is that? And Leo's energy can sometimes be very dramatic. So it's wise to avoid ego conflicts during this period of time or taking offense too easily to things that people say, right? Mind your reactions. In fact, let's not react at all. Let's respond. Right, which means you take a moment, you breathe, and then you choose how it is that you're going to show up. Be mindful of how you assert yourself, right? Don't be, pompous and aggressive in the way that you show up. Find ways to direct your passion constructively. And that can make this period smoother and more productive, right? More self expressive and more aligned with heart. So, how do we make the most of Mars in Leo? And remember, again, or on December 6th, Mars is retrograding. So we have this period of time where we have the outward expression of this Martian energy in Leo, and then it goes inward, right? It's like the breathing out and then the bringing it back inward. So then we have about 6 weeks, 8 weeks of the retrograde period of time, and then he'll shift again outwardly. So the first thing that we can do is to pursue creative projects. This transit is perfect for actually starting or reigniting a creative endeavor, right? Something that maybe you had wanted to do, that you maybe put the first feelers out to do, maybe something that you started and then had to, put a stop to for whatever reason. So it's a period for starting, and we are still in the power of the new moon. So we got a double new start potential here. And then express your talents, right? Go out there and do, whether it's art or performance or business or any other um, project that requires innovation on your part, right? Or any energy that needs drive and confidence, or a sort of persevering or determination kind of energy, right? Leo is a fixed sign. So the fixed signs can become a little more stabilizing. And Mars here, even though he's all action and he's driving us toward passion and expressing our passion, he is also tempered somewhat by Leo's fixity of nature, right? Being more fixed in his way of showing up in the world, being stabilizing, staying the course, being loyal, and being perseverant. Now, embrace boldness in your relationships. Leo is a romantic, expressive sign, and Mars here can bring passion and warmth to your relationships, be they, personal, one on one, or group dynamics. The opposite sign of Leo is Aquarius. So we have groups, we have friendships, we have community energy, and the warmth of the individual as well in relationships. So use this energy to be helpful to others, to show appreciation and gratitude, and rekindle the spark with your loved ones, right? If that's gone astray, try to rekindle that spark. Take pride in your accomplishments. Celebrate those achievements that you've made. And don't be afraid to showcase your progress. Other people do want to know, right? They want to live vicariously through you, perhaps. Mars and Leo will invite you to take pride in your work and then to share it with others, especially if it reflects your uniqueness, right? Your unique strengths, your unique wisdom. Channel your passions productively with such vibrant energy, and with this, splashing uh, hexagon energy that we have going on, or what we call a Star of David, or a grand hexagon. What do we call that? A grand something or another. Uh, Star of David. Just go with that one, right? Um, it's important to stay mindful of your actions because there is so much potential. So easy to get off track. So easy to start putting your energy in that direction when it was really meant to go in that direction. So be wise about the direction that you are putting your energy. Channel your boldness into projects and relationships that align with your values and avoid unnecessary drama or ego conflicts, right? Oh my goodness, right? That can get out of control so easily. Avoid that. So, transiting Mars in Leo, if we button this up, is inspiring. And it's an energetic period of time that encourages self expression and creativity and heart centered leadership. And by embracing this confidence that is bestowed upon us with Mars in Leo, it lets your personality shine through. It makes it easier for you to make meaningful progress in your life, in your projects, and or towards your goals and that type of thing. And enjoy life's ups and downs with joy, right? That enthusiasm and joy. I mean, I don't want to say that it's all, 100% joyfulness all the time because, uh, any transit has its highs and possibly its lows, right? And when, look to December 6th for a time when you will go inward with Mars and Leo and reestablish or reimagine or reevaluate all of the words that we have when Mars is in retrograde. All right. Questions. Let's see who else has joined us here this morning. Good morning, Londa. Debbie Tibbetts Two Meal says, almost missed it. Time confused. Right. I forgot to tell you guys. Of course, you all know that we had to change the clock. So it's not surprising if people are a little off with the time. And good morning, Christine Buckingham, Asa, good morning, TD Hawk, and Misty, and Peggy, good morning. J Lo says, woohoo, that's us at Asa Libra Dreams. That must be about Leo being your moons. And MC in Leo, I see prosperous collaborations for the Cosmic Venus Sisters. I like that. I really like that. Amy D, good morning. She says, happy Monday. And if you have any questions about Mars and Leo, here's the other thing to say about this. Mars and Leo is in a certain house of your chart. So let's see here if I can show you. This is the symbol for Leo. Oops, that one. Right? It looks like the outline of the lion's mane, right? And head. So if you find that symbol in your chart, on this outer wheel, because it'll be on this outer wheel, like in this area, right? If I pull back, you see all of the zodiac signs are on that outer wheel. And this pie slice that it's a part of is called a house. And the house is an area of your life. At this point, Leo is on the ninth house of this chart. If this were a person, and the ninth house is a house of expression of higher self, of your philosophies and beliefs. It's a connection to your God self, if you will, and also other cultures, and to examining the world by broadening your horizons, right? Making life bigger. So Mars, if this were a person, would be moving through the ninth house of expansion and growth, right? It's a very Jupiterian place for the how for this particular house if this were a person. And wherever it is in your own personal chart, that is where growth and expansion is possible, or where to express your passions, your joy, your creativity, and to be truly wholly you. Okay. And if you have questions about that, certainly let me know. Colleen McSpirit Brush, hello to you. She says it's her Mars return in the first house. So a Mars return, and you might actually end up, depending on the degree, you might have a couple of these, right? um, Operating in sort of a hologram, right? Of different, because if it goes over it once, it's going to go back over it. And because he's retrograde, as he goes back over it, when he goes forward again, he'll go back across your natal Mars. And a Mars return happens for each of us every 25, 26 months. And it's a time when there's a new level, a new injection, let's say, of energy that comes in for us. So Mars is really about your vitality and your strength and your courage and your boldness. And as he moves through, it takes him 2 years or so to go around completely through the chart. And, it might mean, Colleen, that over the last few months, even the last, couple of months, you may have been feeling a little bit fatigued, a little bit dragging as your Mars return is imminent. That energy will perk back up and you'll be establishing perhaps more optimism, more ability to see the bigger picture because that's Leo energy, right? To be more heart centered. And in the first house, it's the self, it's personal, right? So it seems that there's probably this new level of creativity and of perhaps self expression that is available to you over this period of time that will be shaking out with your particular Mars or, yeah, Mars retrograde. I mean, Mars return, excuse me. Um, Christine says the house of Mars or of Leo. Look where Leo is. You want to look up Leo because that's where Mars is at this moment, right? He's in Leo. And that house is the one that will have focus on it at least for the next several weeks. And then, of course, Mars will retrograde and he'll move back into the Cancer house of your chart. But that's not the scope of what I'm talking about today, right? I don't want to get all confusing. TD Hawk says Leo is ruler of my seventh house, and my sun is in Leo. So that highlights relationships and the agreements that you have made with people, and maybe revising those contracts, those agreements, or looking at how you show up in your relationships. And here's another thing to think about with the seventh house is it's always a reflection of what's going on within you. So if you have really good relationships, then personally, you must be doing pretty well. But if there are sticking points in your relationships, then look toward yourself at the opposite, the first house, to see what it is that your relationships are showing you in the mirror. And maybe it's a time for you to see how much more heart centered you can be or how much more authenticity you can bring to your personal life. And Christine Buckingham says Leo's in the fourth house. And fourth house is home and family and traditions and everything that sets up the foundation, the roots of the tree. And, is there something that needs to be tweaked there, right? What's the traditional energy? This is also a house of moving and remodeling and all of that kind of thing, too. Asa has a Leo moon and midheaven. And I think you said your Leo moon was at 9 degrees, Asa, because if I remember the 999, ninth house, 9 degrees, something else 9. I don't remember what it was. Um, and that means your moon is going to be impacted by this. And the moon in Leo wants to be seen, wants to be heard, wants to be able to shine and or reflect the sun's light out into the world through your heart. So it's time for you to really take that into consideration and really be the expression that you want to be out there. And let's see, Tom, Leo, 12th house. Oh, what's going on? Okay, what's in the way of your heart centeredness, right? What is in the way? Because the 12th house is the house of the hidden, right? It's the subconscious. And, Leo is about love and relationship. And, there might be fears, blocks, limitations, things that are self sabotaging that are going in or going on in your 12th house that keep you away from being the most heart centered that you could be or adopting love into your life or seeing how lovable you really are. I can't remember. Look in your human design, Tom, and see if you have an open identity center because that's the diamond in the middle, right? If you have an open identity center, it's difficult for you to see how lovable you really are and to see how people really do love you. So this might be an opportunity for you to let love in, right? Let love in and just, bathe in and bask in this idea of being loved, right? And then loving in return, right? I know you got that part down, but allowing people to love you is maybe where the sticking point is a titch. Uh, Okay. And Lo says, "My bathroom was being renovated and now they're painting the whole apartment for me." That's awesome. See? Good stuff can come. All right. If you have other questions, you can go ahead and put those down here. Let's see. What did I want to do today? There is an aspect pattern that is happening, not a pattern, but a transit that is occurring. The sun in Scorpio is in a trine to Saturn in Pisces. So I wanted to talk about that quickly. The key theme of the Sun trine Saturn would be about building emotional, Piscean, and spiritual, also Piscean, foundations, Scorpio and Saturn, right? So Scorpio's energy encourages us to really dive deep and explore the motivations, desires, and hidden aspects of ourselves during a transit like this. Be committed to transformation, right? Be committed to changing what needs to be changed in your life or in your business or in your work or in your play, just in general, right? What needs to be changed, and make that transformation sustainable by adding patience, perseverance, right? That Saturn really likes those things, right? So perseverance and patience help the process become sustainable, and change then takes its form over time, right? Not necessarily like Uranus with a hammer blow to the head, but more like, we're changing over time and things are getting better and that kind of thing. It is also a time to think about compassionate boundaries. Where do you end and somebody else begin? Where are you leaking boundary energy or leaking through those boundaries? Or where are you allowing others to push your boundaries? But on the other hand, where have you been too solid maybe in your boundaries, too rigid in your boundaries, and need to lighten up somewhat? Um, it is also a time for manifesting inner resilience, as this particular energy helps us to stay sustainable and to really look at what would make us sustainable or what would keep us in that resilient nature of energy. So, today might be a good day to focus on long term goals and commitments, like taking a look, brushing off that goal and taking a look at where you are and re-strategizing if necessary. It might be a good day for self-reflection and looking at the emotional boundaries in your life. It might be a day for really looking at how can I endure through these transformative energies. So it really is a time for us to build endurance and to be able to stay the course, and that way our projects or our work has lasting impact. That would be a Saturnian way of looking at this particular um, transit. What I really wanted to get into today is about the energy of the sun's move into the gate 1 and Earth's move into the gate 2. This starts tomorrow, by the way, from November 5th to the 10th. And this is where purpose meets allowing. We're finally out of the spleen's energy, where the sun has been transiting through the spleen since the last week of September, where our fears and our shadows have been being brought to the surface for us to see them clearly, maybe not so clearly, but to see them and to work through them and to, get past them if possible, or to use the energy of the shadows in a positive way to uplift us to the gift level if we're talking gene keys, or even to the siddhi level in the gene keys. And now the energy shifts out of the spleen. So remember, the spleen has been the center for survival, time, intuition, health, right? And we talked about not just merely surviving, but thriving. What would it look like to thrive in those energies, right? Now we're moving the sun's energy out of the spleen, locating the areas in your life where things weren't thriving. And now we're pushing them into the identity center, which is the diamond in the middle of your human design. And I'm going to actually show you this I'm going to share my screen. And okay, there we go. Now you should be seeing a body graph. And the body graph here shows you this is the diamond in the center. It is the seat of the soul, if you will. And in human design, the center is about lovability. It is about your heart centeredness, right? It is an energy center that is magnetic, and it has only the ability to attract right? It's got attractive energy and it attracts to you based on your what you're focused on. A lot of the time it's about what you're focused on. And sometimes it's about what you're focused on in your mind. Other times it's more focused on, if you're trying to create something from, the heart of yourself, your authentic self, then it's attracting to you the people, the opportunities, the money, the resources, whatever it is you need in order to get that done. Well, the gates that the sun will be at this week is the gate one, which is called the gate of purpose. So many of you who are out there who have this gate defined, meaning it's got color in your human design, you're on the hunt for your purpose. And in fact, all of us are on the hunt for purpose. we all we all have the gate one. It's dependent on whether it is defined in your chart or not defined. If you have it defined, meaning it looks something like this, and it could go all the way across to the gate 8 as well. If you have it defined by a planet already there, you're already familiar with this need to find a purpose, right? To really go to the most creative part and soul of yourself to express yourself. And now this week, then the sun is also going to add his very powerful energy to that gate. Now, for all of you who do not have this gate defined, I'm one of them, then the hunt for purpose becomes something that you are working on as we move forward from November 5th through 10th. So, in this gate, the biggest theme here is going to be about authenticity and creativity. And it really encourages us to express pure, spontaneous creativity that comes from within. This is a yang gate. It is the most yang or masculine gate in human design. It's always wanting to push out, right? It wants to go outward. And this energy isn't about copying others or adhering to trends. It's about tapping into the personal spark that you have within you, that only you possess, that only you can share. So it's really the essence of individuality here, and where your uniqueness becomes your greatest contribution, right? Because it's moving us toward the gate 8 in the throat center up here, which is the gate of contribution, right? What do I want to contribute? What do I contribute to the world? Now, here, there is no one purpose. Get that out of your head. Erase that thought. You don't have a purpose. That's just like singular. Like your purpose is not to be a caretaker. Your purpose is not to be a healer, right? But instead, it's a journey, not a destination. Right? So it reminds us that purpose isn't that singular thing. It's not a single event. It's not an achievement. Instead, it's an ongoing journey of revealing who you are. And this gate asks, what do you feel compelled to express today? What aligns you to your deepest truths? And through these questions, the gate one can guide us toward an evolving understanding of our purpose here on the planet. And it is also about impact, your impact through your presence. And it could be called simply being, right? Your impact is in your presence. Your presence is in your impact, right? It's in being. And often those people who are aligned with this energy inspire others just by embodying their authentic self, not doing anything spectacular and not achieving great heights of whatever, but just by being themselves, because this isn't about actively trying to change the world, but rather radiating the inner truth, your inner truth that naturally uplifts those around you, right? It's not trying to do anything, it's being yourself. And it uses creation as a force of change. Creation from gate one is transformative, and inspires change, and it sparks the growth in others. They see what you're doing, they feel your enthusiasm, they decide, I can do that too, or I can do my part too. And this gate really sees life itself as art. as a tapestry, right? As a part of a greater tapestry of weaving together various purposes and points of view and creative adventures, that kind of thing. So embrace this energy, right? Embrace you as a catalyst by showing others what it means to live with purpose, your purpose, right? Being your purpose is to be you and do what you do best. To, even just being yourself in any moment is your purpose, right? Now, here are the challenges in the gate one, because of course we have challenges, right? There are always challenges. And the gate one has a fear of being misunderstood. Expressing your authentic self can sometimes be intimidating, especially if it's unconventional, right? I remember as back in 2003, 4, when I was first, expressing astrology out there to people, and I was really intimidated by this very big study of something, and then I would also be very quiet about what I did because I was afraid that I would be misunderstood, that people would think I was a quack, right? That people would think I was, well, as my kids called me then, a hippie, right? That I was so different. So gate one's energy, the challenge here is that, we don't express our truth. We don't express our authenticity out of a fear of rejection or being misunderstood by others, like our family or the people that are most important to you. So it's really essential for us while the sun is transiting through this gate to cultivate resilience and self acceptance. I'm also going to throw out self love, right? This is a center of love and direction, right? That's what this center is all about. And every one of the gates here gives us love and direction in some way. We have the gates of love. One is a gate of love, but not the love of something. It is really about being in love enough with yourself to speak your truth or to speak your authentic self. Now, this gate can also bring up creative blocks, and especially when it's out of alignment. Gate one leads to a feeling of stagnation, or a lack of inspiration, as though your creative flow has been dammed up or blocked from you. Recognizing that and working through the block is part of the journey of really capturing your authentic self, because it's like anything else, right? Like writer's block, right? You're writing along and suddenly it comes to a point in time where you're blocked. Well, we tend to think that's something negative, but from a human design perspective, what we're seeing is it's time for integration, right? It's not time to keep moving forward. It's a time for integrating. It's a time for really letting everything settle in. And then when we have the inspiration, which returns, it does return, then we take the next steps. Okay. So this gate can really do a number on us if we're always thinking that we have to be on the hunt for our purpose. Um, so, bring your unique talents and qualities out and let those shine, for the world to see. So aligning with gate one's energy during this time means committing to your inner truth, not mine, yours. And it's about creating for the sake of expression, not for validation. We're not doing it because we want other people to see us, or if you're doing it for that reason, you're doing it for the wrong reason, right? We're creating for the sake of expression because it makes us feel good, because it's who we are. And this week, try exploring practices that allow for greater self connection, like maybe journaling or doing some artwork or movement or meditation that can help reveal aspects of your purpose, waiting to be expressed. What hasn't been brought out yet? Time to bring it out. Gate one reminds us that purpose isn't always about a grand external mission. It's not. Instead, it's about embodying who you are with your integrity and authenticity, radiating that energy outward in everything that you do. That is where true purpose lies, right? It's within your own willingness to express your essence without compromising, right? Without compromise. All right. Now, the sun, that's all been the sun, but the earth is at gate two. And the gate two down here, they're both at opposite ends of this diamond, right? So we still have this energy of lovability and centering and direction to deal with. And the gate two, where gate one was the most yang gate, gate two is the most yin or receptive or feminine gate in all of human design. And it's known as the gate of allowing, or sometimes it's called the gate of receptive direction. Either way, it grounds us in openness and trust and alignment with life's natural flow. And gate two emphasizes allowing rather than controlling, right? This isn't where we control the flow of creativity, but this is rather where we are actually kind of maybe channeling it, where we are maybe receiving it, not passively necessarily, but by consciously aligning with our higher self, right? Or the higher path of ours that unfolds through intuitive guidance and trust in the universe. So this is a really big gate as a pairing to the sun. So the key themes of the gate two are about allowing or trusting life's flow, right? Trusting in it. It's the essence of allowing, and it invites us to trust the process as it unfolds without needing to force an outcome, without needing it to be this one way, right? Being allowing. And it's about understanding that some things are meant to flow to you naturally, and that surrendering control doesn't mean giving up, right? It doesn't mean that you're giving up, but rather you're creating space for life's intelligence, if you will, to guide you, right? For spirit to guide you. And it can become an inner compass and intuitive direction. The gate provides an internal compass, I guess you could say, right? That gives you a sense of intuitive direction that comes from a place of deep alignment rather than logical planning. This gate has nothing to do with logic. It is not on the mind. It is not in the ajna. It is not in the head center. It is on the soul center, right? Is the identity. And with Earth grounding us here, it's time to listen more closely to those inner nudges that you get, allowing them to inform your steps rather than relying solely on external strategies to take action, right? Following your intuitive nudges, following those gut instincts. It is a gate of receptivity to support and guidance as well. The gate two really encourages us to be open to receiving support and wisdom and guidance, whether that's from others, other people, um, or from the unseen realm, right? Through angels and guides or through just intuitive awareness. It teaches us that being receptive and allowing help is an openness to things happening in right timing. There's a sense that that being open and waiting can be as powerful as taking action is. So we have both, right? This gate of doing and this other gate of allowing. So the receptivity in this case requires humility on our part and an understanding that we're a part of something larger than ourselves. And sometimes we have to wait for the other pieces on the chessboard to align before we can take that next step. And then this gate is an open invitation to alignment with your higher self, your higher purpose. And gate two is seen as the feminine counterpart to the gate one, right? That pushing out of the one and the receiving energy of the two. And while gate one is about shining your light, gate two is about aligning with and channeling, that light from a higher source, right? So one is shining and doing from that shining, and the other one is following that light and allowing it to channel outward from you. It calls you to be open and flexible, letting life unfold rather than adhering to rigid plans, right? What's that saying? Humans plan and God laughs, or something like that, right? That's in this gate. Now, there are challenges in this gate. And one of the biggest challenges in this gate, too, is that fear of vulnerability, allowing things to unfold rather than forcing things to happen can feel very vulnerable. And there may be a fear that surrendering control means losing power. But gate 2 reminds you that your true strength lies in trusting your path, that everything is working in your best, highest interest, right? And there can be also a sense of resistance to receiving in this particular gate. For some, receiving can feel uncomfortable, right? Like you're getting something for free. And especially if you're used to being very self-sufficient, right? Gate 2 asks you to move beyond self-reliance and welcome the gifts of help and guidance that life itself offers, right? Those signposts along the way, the person that drops into your awareness and gives you some, piece of wisdom, your own, dreams or higher self that speaks to you in a moment of quietness and stillness, allowing yourself to receive those things from outside of yourself. Um, Another fear might be that this is overly passive. Right? We live in a world that values aggression or assertiveness and taking action, right? The just do it Nike kind of mindset. So while gate 2 is about allowing, it doesn't mean abandoning action. It just, the challenge here is balancing that receptivity with taking inspired steps forward when intuitively guided, right? Not just doing for the sake of doing, but doing when in spirit, when spirit guides or intuition guides. So, embracing the energy of both the sun and the earth here this week, or especially with grounding in the gate 2, means practicing receptivity and trust and engaging in activities that help you tune in to and hear your intuitive voice, like meditation or spending time in nature, or journaling, those kinds of things. Take time to notice areas in your life where you might be pushing too hard, and ask yourself if there's a way to let go, to let things come to you instead of you going to them. So, with the Earth at Gate 2, it's a time to recognize that you don't have to have all of the answers. You don't have to know everything that needs to be known in order to take action or in order to, be successful. Life has a rhythm and an intelligence of its own, and things happen in their own natural timing. And gate 2 with the earth asks us to dance with that energy as opposed to pushing, right? This gate really teaches us that our true power lies in attuning ourselves to the path that unfolds when we're in harmony. Um, and in harmony with the world around us, right? And in the natural rhythms and cycles of time. So, gate 2 is a reminder that purpose isn't just about what you actively create, it's also about what you allow to come to you, what you allow to be expressed through you, and shaping your life with a quiet confidence that things are aligning as they should, right? That you don't have to force things to happen. All right, stop sharing. Let me go back to StreamYard. How's everybody doing here? Um, I gotta go back. Oh my god, oh my god. Holy cow, good morning, Chester's mom, LS, AKA Chester's mom. Um, all right. I have to go back a bit. Yes, thank you, Asa and JLo, for the reminder. If you're enjoying the talk today, hit the thumbs up button if you're on YouTube, hit the like button if you are on Facebook, and please share the video with your friends or your social networks. Let people know that there is a rhyme and a reason to the energies that we're all experiencing at this time, and that we don't have to be blind to them. Right? Sharing work like this helps people see that there's some other principle that they can tap into in their lives that'll help them follow along in their life stream in the way that they're meant to, right? That's what I love about the work that I do. So thank you, you guys, for that reminder. Okay, um, so TD Hawk have lost many relationships with them passing into spirit during this short time. She feels in a better place with grief, feeling more energy around meeting new and seeking new collaborations. She's speaking about the seventh house, Mars, I believe, that she has Leo sitting at. And Chester's mom, it's good to see you out there. I have found that here in WNC, um, Western North Carolina, maybe, where the storm recovery is going on. I live in the center of the hardest hit area. I have found it so deeply rewarding to be of service and get out of myself. Oh my gosh, that's awesome, right? As it were, making sort of like lemonade out of lemons, right? Life gave you lemons there, and doing things for others is a way for you to give back, but also to have gratitude for, being alive, at least in this. Um, J-Lo, I love this. With the moon being in 26 and 44, in the sun activating for the collective 2644 to surrender. Indeed, right? Fun stuff. It's also very revealed what you are saying, the art of life and living with purpose. So many times people come to me because they want to know what their purpose is, not really realizing perhaps that they've been living their purpose all along, right? Just by being authentic and doing what it is that they love to do, following your passion. Those are the easiest ways to live your purpose. There isn't an outside external purpose that you were granted in coming here. Right now, we can tap in, we can look, we can see like what gates the sun's at, what gates the earth at, on both the soul side and your cosmic self side, and your embodiment of your physical being. And we can tap in, we can say, oh yeah, okay, you have the gate 44. You're here to, maybe highlight some aspects of the past, and to show that there is a purpose and a logic to things. And but that's not telling you what your purpose is, in terms of that means go out and be an accountant. No, doesn't do that at all. So, your purpose is something so much bigger than all of that. And okay, TD Hawk says she has gate 1 defined, explains a lot. When totally in the flow, it's been amazing creating and being supportive of others doing their thing. And that's, something very wise of you to note, right? That sometimes you're in the position of expressing yourself and creating your path forward. And at other times, you're just the shining example to others, and it may be even helping others to, get to their vitality, right? To get to their purpose. Okay, Lo says, haha, I have family that are in church and even a sister that is a pastor, and I share all things, even my esoteric self. I get that she is going to hell. Not. Won't they be surprised? Indeed. That's what I say all the time, right? That won't they be surprised? I LS, aka Chester's mom, says, thankfully, FEMA has been wonderful here, and all the community love, everyone helping everyone in love. See, isn't that awesome? Rather than, you know, so many times we disparage the government, right? And we come up with these conspiracy theories that they're out to kill us, or they don't want to help us, and that the government isn't slow to react, and all of that type of thing, which is one of the biggest lessons that humanity is learning right now, that we can't always depend on our government, if you will, or our institutions to be there in the moment of crisis. So there's a certain amount of resilience and self-sufficiency that we are having to adopt. And what LS is really describing here to us is that grassroots movement, right? The ability for the community to come together to evaluate the needs that must be met and to help one another to get there. That is the big lesson in what's going on. It's not that the government can't help you, or that they, should or shouldn't help you. It's that you need to be able to, assess what you need and what others need, and start to work together in that process, um, before the bigger guns can come in and help. So this is a big lesson that's going on through humanity. Um, JLo wants to know how this can also play out with the IC being in gate 2 also. So remember the IC, or in astrology, that is the nadir, or the very 6 o'clock position of the chart, right? It's the opening shot of the fourth house in of home and family, or if you use whole signs like I do, it moves a bit throughout the fourth, or I've even seen it in the fifth house at times. It is about the grounding. It is about the foundation, what forms the foundation. So receptivity, right, being open to receiving and allowing, forms a foundation in your chart, apparently, right? Being open to receiving, not just doing, doing, doing. Let people help you, right? Let people give you some insight into wisdom. Let spirit help you yet gain insight and wisdom. All right, hopefully that helps. And I've always loved the yin yang symbol, TD Hawk says, and the meanings of them. And that, of course, is exactly what the gate 1 and 2 are, the yin and the yang and the yin. And all right, any other questions? Tina Wildenauer has a fifth house, Leo and Sag. Leo and Sag, Leo and Sag. Fifth house can either be Leo or Sag, but not both. So, fifth house would mean joy in creativity and romance and love and just being blissful, right? Living from a sense of joy. And you are all very welcome. Let's draw a card before I go this morning. Um, I did not realize that hour went so quickly. And I'm feeling drawn today to, I did this already once this morning for myself through an app that I have for the Galactic Heritage cards. And I feel like we are, in some ways, needing to step out of just being purely solar system directed. Uh, whoa, I didn't even have to do that. It just popped out. And, enter into a greater galactic um, awareness that we're part of something bigger. We're not just a part of Earth, right? We're a part of something. And I pulled out, or what flew out is card 39, imbalance in positive polarity. And this is about the Pleiades from the past, right? So these cards all are from about galactic systems and so forth. This is a deck, by the way, by Lissa Royal Holt and called Galactic Heritage Cards. And 39, let's see what this is all about. And interestingly enough, I'm being called lately to take a look again back at galactic astrology and see what that might hold for some of. Oh, I was like, why is there a red spot on my hair? It's because there's a red light right there. Okay, that's funny. In the ancient Pleiadian history, one of the core lessons of the species had to do with denying the shadow side within. They only wanted to focus on the positive and habitually suppress their dark aspects. It is important to recognize and embrace all aspects, dark and light. In your life right now, try to see where you suppress the darkness inside, such as emotions or pain that you don't want to feel. See it, love it, and dialogue with it. Use it as a part of your growth. In doing so, you will heal many old habits and patterns from lifetimes past on Earth and in the stars. So, this card represents one of the core lessons of the Pleiadian people when they were a young species. They had a tendency to push away the negative emotions and only acknowledge the positive in life. These unprocessed emotions festered on a collective level, and after millennia, this submerged energy had to be released. This unconscious negative energy created an immune system disease that ravished the Pleiadian people. No one could find a cure. It wasn't until they sought help from the shamans of their society that they fully understood what was happening. After much inner searching, the shamans realized that the repressed negative energy on a collective level was creating this immune disease. They made many suggestions to release this energy, and eventually the disease disappeared. Humans are genetically most connected to the Pleiadian people, and we have a tendency to do the same, to push away our unpleasant emotions and the dark aspects of our psyches. Many of the diseases we face today are because of this repressed emotion. If this card comes up in your reading, you most likely had experiences in the Pleiadian system during this era in which this issue of repressed emotion was happening. It's also a message to continue to stay connected to the emotions you are feeling and never push them away. You can write about them or face and embrace them in meditation. If you make a commitment to this process, you will live a healthier and happier life, right? So, imbalance in the positive polarity means that we have been suppressing perhaps the negative emotions and feelings and experiences, the fears, the shadows. And of course, we've just come through a time where those have all been coming up to the surface. So, allow them to exist in a healed state. All right, that is it for me today. I will see you all on Friday. Take care. Bye for now.